Netflix has a lot of true crime documentaries, and if you're anything like me, you've probably watched them all by now. One that has flown under the radar for most people, though, seems to be the French SK documentary called The Women and the Murderer. It's an hour-and-a-half long documentary that tells the story of a Parisian SK in the 1990s, but it's told from the perspective of all the women involved in the case. Not a single man speaks one word throughout the entire thing. You hear from a victim's mother, the female French police chief, a female journalist, the assistant female, or the female assistant defense lawyer, and the female prosecution lawyer. The documentary uses footage from current day interviews with these women, as well as old footage from around Paris at the time. I honestly won't be able to get across just how powerful hearing the stories from these women is. The mother is exceptionally genuine and forthcoming in her interviews. She's got that kind of like grandmother energy, if you know what I mean. So she's like strong but caring but kind, but you know she won't take any shit. You know what I mean. And the special police chief essentially, I think that's the right term. I think the French might have a different term. She was top dog of the investigation anyway. She comes across very well. She says all the right things and doesn't actually seem to be saying the right things because she thinks she should be saying those things, if you know what I mean. Her interviews, though, are the only real gripe I have with the whole documentary and how it's shot. Nothing to do with her or what she says or the questions posed or anything like that. It's the way they frame the lamp on her table. You'll know what I mean as soon as you see it. Every shot that she's in, the lamp on her table or on her desk is also in. And this lamp is made from like an old school pistol. I don't know whether it was the director's decision or whether she refused to be interviewed unless her prized lamp was on the desk while she, in the shot. I don't know. It was just so unnecessary and distracting, and it kind of took away from what she was actually saying for me. I'm sorry to have pointed it out now. You won't be able to watch it without looking at it yourself, but that's my only gripe, really. The documentary does a good job of mentioning how France's society anyway, was pushing back against the need for a DNA database for criminals. They'd never deemed it necessary in France to have one. France doesn't see many sort of extremely violent criminals or serial killers at all. But they do touch on the actual pushback and how society was deeming it not necessary or something that was going to be atrocious, and they'd want everyone's DNA and it'd all be on file and all that, stuff. But in this case, really proved that if they did have a DNA database, they would have caught him much quicker. I think they actually bent the rules a little bit as to how they were looking through all the manual DNA profiles before to actually find him. It does get glossed over a little bit in the documentary, but that's kind of the point. It's not really meant to be about the sort of chase of him, tracking him down, finding out who he was and things. It really is talking about the stories of these women involved. So anyway, about halfway through, we actually get to the name of the SK, Guy Georges, or Guy Georges if you really want to butcher it in English. We also get introduced to the two female lawyers, and they tell their stories about how the trial would play out once he was captured. The prosecution's lawyer is extremely intense and does like a fantastic job of reenacting the major turning point in the trial. The way she tells the story is brilliant, and the impact in it without using, because they don't use any dramatized like reconstructions, having her tell it, the actual person tell it, just adds so much weight to the story. It's really good. So I won't spoil any more than that, but it's a really good moment. If you do look up reviews, say on IMDb or somewhere, they are on the lower side than what I'd expect, but I think that's from people kind of missing the point. It is a true crime documentary that is, talking about some very severe crimes, but the documentary isn't supposed to be focused on the crimes or even on capturing the killer or the killer himself. It's very much talking about these women that were involved in the case and how it affected them in their lives and how they responded to everything that was going on and what has happened since with them in their lives. It also seems to have bad reviews because of the dubbing, but please just watch it subbed. You really need to hear the impact of the women's voices as they talk, the emotion they carry in their voices. It really adds so much to the program. I admit this documentary won't be for everyone. It is a departure from true crime documentaries. We all know, like I said, There is no dramatic reconstruction of anything, thank God, because I actually really hate those. I don't think they add anything to documentaries at all. They're kind of pointless, and some of them are really kind of cringe. And it also doesn't focus on the graphic nature of the crimes, like I said. But that is why it's so good to me. And for anyone that finds themselves bored of true crimes, or you think you've watched everything, I would recommend this to you. In fact, I'd highly recommend this to anyone with a passing interest in true crime in general. And so there you have it. That's my review on The Women and the Murderer. I think it's top tier. It's something very different. I think they do an excellent job with the interviews. The women are amazing, just incredible women. And it really gives them a voice when usually it's focused on, the man and the monster that he is. And it's really just very nice just to have the other side of everyone else that's involved in a case like this. Because, it's not just this one dude. It's, he impacts so many people's lives. And so hearing from them really makes you think about things differently. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like these kind of videos. I have a lot more coming. I have all kinds of stuff in the pipeworks or pipeline. You won't want to miss out on it. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.